Tesla has been strutting around like it's the cock of the walk when it comes to electric vehicles, but with some reason. The Silicon Valley startup has been the catalyst for the increasing interest in EVs ever since it realized people were more interested in them when they focused on luxury and performance as much as any environmental benefits. But there is a problem looming on the horizon for Tesla, and it's this, the Mercedes-Benz EQC. That's right, Mercedes-Benz, the German giant that literally invented the car over 100 years ago, has entered the electric race. And it's ready to show those plucky American upstarts how it's done. Or at least that's the plan. So let's take a closer look and see what they've produced.
And if you're looking for more detail, check out the full review on the CarsGuide site. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit subscribe to stay up to date with all of our latest videos. The EQC is the tip of the three-pointed star's armada of EVs coming in the next few years. Benz wants to roll out no less than 7 fully electric EQ models by the end of 2023, which means they will be busy little beavers over the next few years. But it also means they've got to get creative about how they go about building so many different electric vehicles. A one-size-fits-all skateboard-style platform favoured by Tesla wasn't going to cut it, which is why Mercedes thought inside the box and decided to adapt some of its current models to fill the need. Which is why, if you look beyond the futuristic grille and squint a lot, the EQC bears a resemblance to the petrol and diesel-powered GLC. Now, Mercedes stresses that as much as 85% of the EQC is unique, but it also doesn't hide the fact that the two SUVs can be built in the same factory, so there's enough commonalities between the two to call them closely related. These are two siblings rather than cousins. That means the electric motors and batteries have to be fitted within the architecture of the GLC, so it doesn't get quite the same benefits in terms of packaging and design freedom that, say, a Tesla Model X enjoys.
That doesn't mean Mercedes-Benz has produced a second-rate EV. On the contrary, the EQC boasts some impressive statistics. So let's take a look at what we've got. Under the bonnet here, no internal combustion engine in here. Instead, we've got one electric motor mounted up front, driving the front wheels, and a second in the rear, driving the rear axle. Hence the EQC 400 4MATIC name. Now they draw their power from a battery that's mounted underneath the floor. It's an 80 kilowatt hour battery that Mercedes claims gives a real world range of around 350 kilometers, which is more than what most people are going to need. The motors together combine to produce 300 kilowatts of power and 760 newton meters of torque, which is a lot of pulling power for an SUV this size. So much so that Mercedes claims the EQC can do the 0 to 100 sprint in just 5.1 seconds. That is seriously quick for something that is quite obviously not a sports car. Where the EQC's connection to the GLC becomes a bit more apparent is inside, where it's more like a conventional car layout rather than the open plan design that you get in, say, a Tesla Model X or even the Jaguar I-Pace. For example, you get this transmission tunnel, which is largely unrequired, does provide some decent storage, but the design that really stands out is this upper half of the dashboard where it is pure EQC. You've got some really nice touches. These air vents finished in this copper color, which is a unique EQ trait, which will hopefully carry across most models, is inspired by copper wire from computers. These trim elements up here on the dashboard and the doors, they're inspired by computer heat sinks. And even the actual design of the vents themselves are inspired by computer circuit boards. It's all got this high-tech kind of feel. But what I really love about it is these trim elements. The way the dashboard juts out looks different from what you see in traditional Mercedes-Benz. The materials used are really interesting. Yes, you've got traditional leather, but this material on the top of the dashboard actually feels, weirdly, it feels like a wetsuit, but that may sound a bit odd, but I actually really like it. And the cool touch is it's made of recycled materials. It also features the latest Mercedes MBUX system, which includes this huge panel, which is actually 2 screens, one for the dashboard information, one for your infotainment system, which is a great user-friendly system. But it also includes the latest MBUX system, which allows you to say things like, "Hey Mercedes,
how may I help you?"
And it'll assist you like your smartphone virtual assistant. It's clever technology that makes it a really user-friendly car. And again, it's that really the benefit of Mercedes experience shining through. Having said all that, because it doesn't have the flat skateboard style battery pack that you get in, let's say, a Tesla Model X, for example, it means the space in the back here is really very conventional. I mean, from this angle, you could be in a GLC. There's nothing really standout EQC about the back seat. Having said that, it's relatively well catered for. You've got an armrest here with cup holders, and down here, a pair of USB chargers. But back here, it's convention rather than anything truly exciting. One of the big barriers to electric vehicle uptake has been the so-called range anxiety. You know, the concern that you leave the safety of your power point at home and travel around and run out of juice. Well, Mercedes-Benz has tried to combat that by doing a deal with ChargeFox. It's an Australian company with an expanding network of public charging infrastructure, the fast chargers, and this behind me is what's known as an ultra rapid charger, so it can juice up your EQC in seemingly no time at all. Now the beauty of this deal is Mercedes and ChargeFox have done it so that the cost of the subscription to ChargeFox is actually included in the price of your vehicle. So for 5 years, you can travel around and range anxiety is a thing of the past.
To highlight the benefits of these ultra-rapid chargers, Mercedes claims that 30 minutes on a standard household outlet will add just 4 kilometres of range. Plugging into one of these bigger units will give you 220 kilometres of range in the same amount of time.
Before I tell you about how the EQC drives, I have a small confession to make. I'm a motorsport fan. I grew up watching car racing. I love the sound of screaming engines and the smell of petrol and burning rubber. All that stuff's fantastic to me. But I gotta say, I'm actually a bit of an electric car convert. I think they are brilliant. The way they sort of slink along almost silently, but have this instant torque whenever you put your foot down is fantastic. It's like relaxed performance. It's really, really cool. And that's the overwhelming quality you get with most electric cars, but particularly the EQC. You know, whenever you need it, you put your foot down and it builds speed instantaneously. It's fantastic. Is this the fastest electric vehicle? No. But for what it is, a 5-seat luxury, family-friendly SUV, it's certainly more than fast enough. Does that make it perfect? No, not by any stretch. The ride especially is a bit of an issue because it has a bit of a strange setup for a Mercedes. It's got steel springs at the front and airbag suspension at the rear. So the ride does get a little busy, a little choppy at times. But overall, as an electric car to drive, around town is really what it's built for. And that's where it excels. Like so many electric cars now, it has paddles on the steering wheel to adjust the regenerative brake. So you can really, as you drive along, shuffle through the regenerative braking effects just by clicking the paddles on the wheel here. And you get, heavier retardation just by rolling off the throttle. Just lift your foot, and in D-, you notice quite dramatic deceleration. That takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you master that, you can actually really monitor the battery use and actually stretch it out if you're quite clever and you're really engaged with it. But otherwise, if you leave it in D, it's like driving a more conventional car and you do have to use the brake a bit more. So Mercedes again has tried to straddle that line between embracing the modern and the technology that comes with an EV while still being conventional and almost a traditional car in so many ways. Even if you've never driven an electric car before, this is arguably a great way into it. This is what Mercedes is trying to do. It's trying to appeal to those who have really never driven an electric car by straddling that line between what we're familiar with but what is also new. And in that regard, this is a really impressive machine.
Naturally, supply will be limited as Mercedes enters the EV market for the first time. To that end, Mercedes-Benz Australia is offering only a single specification, the EQC 400 4MATIC, which will be priced from $137,900 plus on-road costs. And that price is firm because Mercedes-Benz Australia will control all stock of the car directly instead of supplying its dealers and leaving them to sell it. It's part of a new sales model that the company is experimenting with that will give customers the chance to buy online directly from Mercedes. For that money, you do get plenty of equipment, including AMG line exterior package, 20-inch alloy wheels, multi-beam LED headlights, AMG line interior, leather upholstery, wireless smartphone charging, a head-up display, sunroof, keyless entry ignition, and a 13-speaker Burmester sound system. Plus, there's the value of that ChargeFox subscription.
So, should Tesla and Co be worried by the arrival of Mercedes-Benz in the electric vehicle race? Short answer, yes. The EQC is a very impressive car. But what else did you expect from Mercedes-Benz? They've been doing this longer than anyone else. For those looking to make the switch from a conventional internal combustion car to an electric, it ticks all the boxes. You've got the reliability and the heritage of Mercedes-Benz, but you've got all the new technology, the range and the performance that you expect in an EV. But more than that, it's just a good car. Full stop. Petrol or electric, it's just impressive.
If you want to learn more about the EQC, be sure to read our full review online at the CarsGuide website. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and that way you'll stay up to date with all of our latest video reviews.